I just wanna show you what it feels like. Sometimes I wanna end it all and kill the lights. Crying out for help, but I can still fight. Attacked by my conscience on a chill night. Just picture me rolling.
All right, guys. Welcome to the first official episode of VetTableTalk. So right now I got one of my good buddies. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Thomas Chayra, Army veteran.
Yeah. And today we're going to go down a really vigorous journey of what it's like to be in the military and what it's like being out of the military. I really created this space so people can understand where we come from and we can actually share our stories. And it's just a safe space for us to talk, have a conversation. We got all the camera angles, we got all the things ready. You ready, brother?
I'm ready to go, dude.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
To the questions. Okay. So my number one question is, what did you do in the military?
I was in the Army. Okay. I was an Army medic. I was a platoon medic at the 10th Mountain Division, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Squadron, 89th Cavalry. Okay. Wolverines, kill, will, drill, kill.
Yeah.
And I was a platoon medic, and that was my job.
Okay, that's awesome. Another quick question, how long did you serve?
I served for 3 years, 10 months.
3 years, 10 months.
Yes, and then I ETS'd out of the Army with an honorable discharge.
Okay, cool. All right, we're going to get into a little more vigorous questions. How was the family strain on joining the military, and did it help or hinder?
You know what? I was married. Okay, so I went into the Army single. Well, not single. I had a long-time girlfriend, but... Yeah. I might have been acting single. I went into the Army, had a long-time girlfriend. I ended up marrying her before my deployment. Mm-hmm. My family stayed at home. They're back here in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And how was the strain on that? There was definitely a strain. Sorry, hold up. No, is that all right? Is that all right? We're not okay. Strain. All right, cool. There was a strain. It was a strain. I didn't want to deploy alone. I didn't want to be alone. I was young. I was 20 years old when I joined. I married my longtime girlfriend at the courthouse in Los Angeles because I didn't want to go overseas to combat alone. And I loved her, and bless her heart, she's doing very well for herself nowadays, although we're not together anymore. Being deployed was definitely stressful. Going through training, not so much, because I was very busy. And then in garrison, also still pretty busy. She came to live with me out in New York. Upstate New York is where my base was at. And then when I deployed, it was pretty stressful. Mm-hmm. Worrying about what's going on back home with your girl.
Exactly.
Who your girl's with, Jody's got your girl and gone, dude. Yeah. But you know what? I kind of dealt with it all right. I just assumed that's what was happening anyways, you know? So I just kind of wrote it off. I was just like, it made it easier. It was just like, whatever. I got to keep my head in the game right now. You have a job to do, Yeah. You have your orders, you have your tasks. And so that's the way that went. I remember it being stressful on blackout. I don't know if you remember like blackouts, when somebody gets killed, or exactly. It's like radio silence. There's no Facebook, there's no internet, no nothing. You gotta notify the family. Yeah, exactly. And especially when we're out at posts outside the FOB, because I would operate mostly out of FOB Striker, but we had some outposts, compounds that we had took during raids or whatever that we would turn into outposts. There's definitely there's no signal out there, no way to get a hold of it.
Off the grid for like a week.
Off the grid, exactly. So, you think about those things and it is stressful. The world is going on back there and you're in some foreign place on some street you've never been on. You don't speak the language, you're definitely stressed out. Did it help or hinder? I ETS. I mentioned before that ETS pretty much when I got back from my my combat experience. I got out of the military shortly after, and I moved back to California, and I got a place with my wife at the time, and she was living in Boston while I was deployed.
Okay.
And then I came back. We got a place together. My father, her, and myself, and I started going to college. Started going through the motions because that's what you're supposed to do. I wanted to get into nursing school because I was an Army medic, and that's what AJ squared away is supposed to do. But I told her to leave. I was pretty twisted up when I first came back, pretty twisted up. It was hard to adjust. I was internalizing, I really hadn't adjusted. I really hadn't shut off. As you know, they don't debrief you when you come back,
Not that quick.
They gave you the suicide hotline, veteran crisis line, how to get your GI Bill, and have a nice day. It was kind of how I saw it getting out of the military. When I came back, even though I was doing those things, I was internalizing a lot of stuff, and I was not capable of holding on to a relationship, and I wasn't comfortable with it. Honestly, I felt like I couldn't talk to my spouse. I couldn't talk to my family, for that matter. And I told my wife to go back to Boston. And so that's what happened to me. We separated then, and we did not carry on with our marriage. It dissolved. We got a divorce. And so that's my story with the family life. My family, has been very supportive over the years, but they don't. At that time, and still to this day, they empathize. But they don't understand.
Yeah, I know. I get the
but they know that they don't understand. Yeah. They try to.
My mom is kind of the same way. Like she won't get it, and you know what I mean. She won't barge in. She won't force the questions or answers out of me. But she just knows that it's something she just don't understand, and we won't talk about. You know what I mean? So I completely understand. Yeah,
sometimes it's a touchy subject, and my behavior, over the years has been sometimes pretty wacky. And it's definitely been a strain. So to answer the question, did it help or hinder? I think it put a real strain on my family life, for sure.
Thank you so much for that, man.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, so since getting out of the military, how well do you think America has done with taking care of vets compared to how we take care of them? Like we're out there doing our thing, so getting back home, how was that for you?
Getting back home was a pretty tough transition. I was just in an extreme high stress situation, and I didn't get to shut off. I didn't really go to counseling. I didn't really do anything. Although I did get involved with some peer support a couple years after.
I'm a peer support specialist as well.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is peer support right here.
Exactly. That's what this is.
Talking about it. There was a long time when I could not talk about it.
Yeah.
And that was eating me up. And I definitely got involved in, high risk activity. Yeah. Just to feel alive and feel something. To get back to the question, how do I feel that the public, just the public in general, are we talking about the VA?
No, the public in general.
The public in general, always an outpour of support, I feel fortunate to be from a generation where, even though maybe our conflict didn't have, our war didn't have 100% public support, but, or popular support, like people still appreciated veterans, No matter what the political view was, people are like, hey, thank you for your service. Yeah. And I found a lot of people trying to reach out to me. The VA system has been very good to me over the years. I've been through it. Let's see here, just in and out of the hospital. I've had cancer twice. I had thyroid cancer and also testicular cancer. And they think that maybe from exposure to depleted uranium. The VA has been pretty good to me about all my healthcare needs. I think the American people are pretty supportive as a general rule. You know,
Yeah, because one thing we were kind of talking about earlier. Sorry if I cut you off.
Yeah, no worries.
But one thing we were talking about earlier is I love how like a lot of those Vietnam vets, they came in, you know what I mean, and they made sure we were taken care of.
Yes.
Because a lot of those guys didn't get taken care of, and they were looked at as monsters and baby killers and family killers. So when they literally took their pain and they turned it into helping us, you know what I mean? Because they knew what was to come before we even seen it. You know what I mean? Because most of those guys were drafted. They didn't even want to go to that war. And they came home and they weren't accepted. You know what I mean? So I see them leading a lot of programs. Like you have the USOs at the airports. A lot of them, the people that are in the top commands in those places. So when veterans come home from fights or they're going out, they got a place where they can rest and relax. And those places are run by like World War II vets and Vietnam vets. So when I tell you that they're an extreme, you know what I mean?
And civilian
volunteers. Civilian volunteers, exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
But the thing is, you know what I mean? Who put those programs in place? It was always those vets. It's all those vets that have been through it and didn't want us to be treated that way. So I really want to thank them for that too.
Yeah, for
you know
sure.
What I mean? Because their service on and off the battlefield.
Hot dogs,
exactly.
at the USO, man. Yeah, dude, I love all that stuff, man.
Yeah, because I remember 17-hour flights, dude, and I'm just making it, and I'm like, I'm fucking starving. You know what I'm saying? And
I got to go chill at the airport, man, for sure.
And they got a place where you can kick up the feet. They're like, put your bags here. They're safe here. Go take a nap, take a shower if you need. We got toiletries. Yeah. You know what I mean? We'll
make sure you get to your flight on time.
Yeah, make sure you get to your flight. We'll wake you up if you want to take a nap. Those are some of the key things that I really do appreciate the USO taking care of for us. And so that's civilian volunteers and veterans.
Yes.
So one thing is I never want to say that we completely didn't get taken care of, because there's some people that really are here pulling strings for us.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? Because of my inability to vocalize and talk about my stuff, therapize, I had some civilians reach out to me for peer support groups, Awesome. A couple of them, the Sparta Project. I went to a retreat with them, and also Vets for Vets. Mm-hmm. In fact, I pulled one of my battle buddies out from Texas, and he came out and participated at a retreat. I just started talking about this stuff. Yeah. I was internalizing it, and it was eating me up. Because I couldn't connect. I couldn't connect with anybody except for my battle buddies.
Yeah.
That's it. That's where it's at. Most people don't understand, but the public has been good to me. The VA has been good to me. My benefits have been really good, and I think that they set me up for success in a lot of ways. And that's all from the public. That's all from veterans. Exactly. The American people spoke, and they said, hey, we want to give you this. Exactly. You do this dirt for us. You go out and do unspeakable things, and you put in work. You put in work, and you do dirt. Exactly. You get your hands dirty, and so we want to endow you with these benefits, and we want to make this available to you. And so I've found a lot of support, over the years. It's been 12 years now. Shoot. So there's been a lot of hookups, not just from the public, but from the VA and also those organizations, like you said, the VSO, Veteran Service Organizations, the USO, and then other, nonprofits. College, dude. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I went through vocational rehab. Yes, they paid for my school. There's a lot of job placement assistance, all kinds of good stuff. So it is easy, though, I think, to fall through the cracks.
It is easy to fall through the cracks because a lot of people just don't know these things are available. Yeah. So that's one thing I want to let y'all know, a quick plug in, that, if you're a veteran and you're watching this and you haven't gotten any support, I really want you to reach out to some of these organizations, or even reach out to us. We're going to actually link down an email to where you can reach out to us and talk to us personally. And I'm going to fulfill you in on some of these, these organizations that can actually help, because, I was a homeless veteran living in my car. So, if anybody knows, I know. Yeah. So, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'm going to get some of these things to you. And we're going to continue rolling on. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, what are some of the day-to-day struggles that you wish people knew about?
Oh, day-to-day struggles. You know what? Right now, I'm dealing with substance abuse issues, dude. I found some relief in that, And like I said before, I was engaged in high-risk behavior. And I, too, was homeless for quite a while, for almost a year out on the streets, living in my car. And then I lost my car. And then I was on the streets, dude. And
Same story.
losing my mind, man. And fortunately, I just took my ass to the VA. I got sick of it. I got really tired of it. And then, my family was there to support me. And they said, come on back. But, you got to be working on yourself, Thomas.
Yeah, you got to be willing and able.
Yes. So, everyday struggles, I struggle with PTSD symptoms, dude. Paranoia or just hypervigilance, dude. Stressed out,
I get that.
Watching my ass all the time, it gets exhausting sometimes. When you feel disconnected from people,
It's hard with a lot going on in America to just go, I'm safe here.
Yeah, I don't feel safe
I
in a lot of
safer
places.
out there than I did here.
Yeah, because you know who's on your side.
Yeah, exactly.
You know who's on your side. I know who I can trust, and that's my battle buddies.
Exactly.
That's my fellow veterans and stuff like that. So I know they're solid, and then everybody else is kind of like a maybe. And I know they're not insurgents. I know that now here in America today. I know that, but I still get those feelings. And certain things trigger me too. So PTSD symptoms, night terrors still. This is really horrible dreams, depression. Something I deal with, and I don't know. Yeah, those are my struggles on day to day.
Yeah, man. Literally, I completely understand you with that, and that's how we connected so easily and so close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We shared some road stages when we first.
Yes, absolutely,
and,
man.
I'm there with you, man. Because sometimes it's just unbearable.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I always try to display in the way that I carry myself is there's nothing more precious than life itself.
Sure.
But it's times where I just don't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally relate, man. Sometimes I just get the fuckets.
A bucket of fuckets, just throwing them around. You know what I mean?
I think that goes for everybody though too. I don't think we're alone like that. But sometimes I do feel alone, and sometimes I don't see the point, and sometimes I don't know. It's hard. It's a struggle.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for that. All right, cool. So, funny question. What is something that Americans need to stop saying to you or asking you?
Stop asking me if I kill people. It's a stupid question. I understand you're curious, but it's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
And it's uncomfortable. On combat deployment, I dealt with that kind of stuff on a daily basis. It's extreme violence.
Exactly, extreme violence
and fear and traumatic.
I think it's more for me, it's more psychological because when you see a life being taken in front of you, that's a whole nother experience because you realize how then precious and sensitive life can be. You know what I mean? So when somebody asks you a question, me personally, a question like that, it's instantly triggering because I'm like, stay the fuck out of my head. You know what I mean? And I don't
really care to be talking about
I don't really care to talk about that because I'm already dealing with that on some other levels and I go through other channels to deal with that. So I don't want to talk to you about that.
Yeah, and I don't personally have any kills. That wasn't my experience. But, I did, dude, it's just an uncomfortable subject. My platoon and my unit definitely participated in combat operations. And that involves, people dying. Yes. Death, extreme violence, brutal stuff. I remember, what really fucks with me is abducting people, We're out on patrol. We set up a traffic control point, just out of anywhere. We're just rolling down the street. I'm like, okay, stop. We're going to start waving through these vehicles and you go, you're cool, you're cool, you're cool, you pull over. And if we don't like what you got to say, mind you, I don't speak the language, you know, we just have some terp who's like telling us what, you know,
this guy's not.
yeah, this guy's not cool. Like, are you sure? And then, you know, we zip tie him, put a bag over his head, kick him in the teeth, put him in the Humvee, and he's gone indefinitely.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we don't know, like, you know, it's just gone. You know, he might have been going to pick his little kids up from school or something.
And that's just all a part of the
mission. And that's part of the mission,
so
you know?
Even, like,
and he don't get no phone call home.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like, damn, dude, this is rugged, you know? And then also, you know, seeing people hurt, you know, just badly in IED attacks and just on raids, just extreme stressful situation. When people ask me, you know, if I killed people, it's like, dude, I don't even like want to think about that violence.
Exactly. Like, I don't even want to like stop putting me there.
Yeah, I don't even want to like, you know. And then also it used to be because I did have an ethical and moral conflict, you know, with my mission. You know, I did lose friends. They died, you know, blown the fuck up. And I've seen it happen right in front of me. You know, I've called in 9-line medevacs. You know, I've done my job. And I don't know, when people told me thank you, you know, thank you for your service. And I'm just like, why? I don't even know why I was there.
Yeah, I get
you know, like, I don't even, there was no weapons of mass destruction. You know, it wasn't forgotten country. I mean, nothing really changed over here. I mean, these people in Iraq where I served, it had nothing to do with 9/11.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they had nothing to do with 9/11. And so, like, why am I here, man? You know?
Yeah.
And so I struggle with that.
I was when I did an SF appointment to the Philippines, and I'm like, why are we here?
Yeah, why are we here?
Like, and the American people didn't even know we were there at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it just came out recently, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Because their president actually like announced it. He wants U.S. forces out. But it was like, why are we here?
Yeah. What is the point of this, dude? You know, like, I'm doing this shit, and like people are dying, and
exactly. I'm boxing people up and taking them out, and it's like, what is the purpose here?
Yeah.
So I completely understand like that. That's just.
So when they told me thank you, you know, and they're like, thank you for your service, I'm like, yeah, dude, you're welcome. You know, but now, you know, in hindsight, since time's gone on, and I've been able to connect with other vets, and like, you know, I've been able to like hold my head high a little bit more about my service, and just like, you know what, the service was selfless. You know, I would have gone anywhere. You know, I wish there would have been like some axis of evil, you know, like Hitler or something like that. Like, this guy's going to take over the whole world and like eliminate all the brown people. And, like, and I don't know.
That wasn't the case.
But that wasn't the case. I was fighting an insurgency, and like most of the people that were, you know, fighting us, they just crossed the border, and they're just people. Yeah. And I thought about it like this. I mean, what would I do if somebody came over to my neighborhood and told me I can't come out past dark, or they'll shoot me? Sorry about that drone strike. You know, sorry about your auntie last week. You know, it's bad intel. Yeah. You know, whoops. You know, here's a goat, or like, here's a bag of rice, you know, like, sorry for your trouble. I would resist, you know. And so that was another, you saw people. Yeah, exactly. You were there. They're people. They're just people trying to live, trying to get their kids to school, observe their customs, celebrate their holidays, farm their crops, you know.
And then once you get to, when you see the reality of that and what's really going on, it's kind of like, why are we here? You know what I mean? And the thing is, it's your job to be there. And even though it is your job, you still, like you said, it's the moral question of, do we really need to be here?
Yeah, what the fuck am I doing?
It's not our war.
Yeah, this isn't, these people, they're just trying to get on,
dude. They're just trying to live, like we are.
They're just trying to live, dude.
Dude, I was in one of the poorest parts of the Philippines, dude. Yeah. These people had to take out loans to get $20 worth of food to cook for you and your family.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So when they ask you, they invite you to their house, and they say, we want to cook for you, that's like one of the utmost signs of respect, because they're going to take out a personal loan to give you, to share with you. To share with you.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
That's the humanity of it. That's the humanity.
That's one of the points I'm like, I'm here to protect people like that. Right. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, a lot of people think, oh, they're all terrorists. They're not. They're not all terrorists. Not all Muslims are terrorists. I want you to break that down. If you're watching this right now, I'm going to look you dead in your face and tell you all Muslims are not terrorists. There are extremists, and there are people who are just trying to live their lives, and that's one thing I cannot stand. When I hear somebody, an ignorant fuck, tell me to my face that, all Muslims are terrorists. And I'm like, but were you there?
I'm not with that. I'm not with that.
Because I protected little kids. Not even protected. Played with little kids.
Yeah.
They're all born Muslim whose family had been killed by radical Muslims.
Yeah, I don't hate Muslims.
I don't hate Muslims at all.
At all.
People
They're
are
just
people.
human beings.
They're just human beings.
Just like you and me.
Exactly.
And that's where the moral injury came from. That's what it's been called. I mean, that's what I've been told it's called. Like a moral injury.
Yeah.
It's like this debate in my head. Like, why the fuck was I doing that? And do I feel good about that?
Yeah, exactly. Can I say that I'm proud of it?
Yeah, proud of doing what? Like, fucking beating on people? Like, and for what? And then I lost homies, and now I'm struggling with this, this mental issue.
Like, what did they really die for?
Yeah, what was the purpose in that, that was kind of senseless. So what I would tell them is stop asking me if I killed anybody, and you're welcome. I'll answer you're welcome.
See, I say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for acknowledging my service.
Thank you for acknowledging my service.
So when people say thank you for your service, I say thank you for it. Just thank you for acknowledging my service.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, and I got another one for you. What was one dream that came true while you were in the military?
I got to travel. I got paid. You know what? They delivered on their contract.
Yeah.
They came through. They gave me a job. They gave me 3 hots and a cot. They took care of my family. They've given me benefits. It set me up for success in a lot of ways. They paid for my education. So that was one of the motivating factors. I had turned down my parents' offer to help me with education, and I told them I wanted to travel. I was young, and I wanted to travel and have fun for a few years. I didn't want to go straight to college, and so I said, "Hey, buy me some plane tickets, and we'll call it even." And they said, "Deal." But I knew at that time I had to figure out a way to pay for myself. And, so they did. They hooked me up, and actually through the VA now, my son's college tuition is paid for as well. That's one of the benefits in California that they're gonna pay for my son's tuition. So I'm grateful for that. So a dream, maybe not. A goals, yes, definitely.
Goals that you never knew you really
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things where it was things that were beyond my scope at the immediate time that I just couldn't understand, and I didn't know that these things would actually come to fruition.
Yeah.
And it was I got dreams and goals that I never imagined of having. I've been to places where I never imagined I could go.
Yeah.
And I found hobbies that I never knew I'd love by being out in those places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. I was a little short-sighted. I was young. We good? All right, cool. I was a little short-sighted when I was just young and dumb. I didn't have any... I didn't know what I wanted to do, really. I knew I had to do something, though. And I knew I needed to secure some kind of education assistance. And so at the time I was just like, yeah, let's go do this. It seems like a good deal,
Yeah, dude, I wanted
and
to
chicks
escape
like
my
the
reality.
uniform,
Dude, I wanted to escape my reality, man, because I came from a really rough part of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And literally he said, bro, you want me to... I didn't know anything about the Marine Corps at the time when I joined.
Yeah.
And he goes, have you ever been to the Boy Scouts? I was like, no. He's like, Cub Scouts? No. He was like, RJRTC? I was like, nope. He was like, do you know anything about the Marine Corps? I was like, no. He said, but do you want to be a Marine? And I go, yes. And he goes, what? He's like, are you sure? And I said, I'm very sure. He's like, why? I said, I need to get away from where I am.
Yeah.
Because I ain't seeing nothing but jail, and death in jail.
It's a trap. The trap.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that's being handed out around here. And if I stay here any longer, I feel that's where I'm gonna get sucked into. And literally, my recruiter gave me one thing. He said, if you can pass a piss test, because I used to smoke weed at the time. He said, if you can pass a piss test, if I come back in 30 days, you pass piss test, I'll give you my word, I'll make you a Marine. And he held to that. Sergeant Wojciechowski, wherever you are. You know what I'm saying? I really do appreciate you. Thank you for holding your word to that.
Yeah, man. That's what's up, dude. They made good on their promise. I was rambling around for a couple of years, and I needed to do something. I know I couldn't go to college, not because of the money so much, but like, just I didn't have any discipline. I wanted to get something under my belt, and I definitely feel like I did. It was an accomplishment, and it was something I could, take with me, values, and all that stuff that they drill into you, they
exactly.
burn it into your skull, dude. And I've gotten away from it, but it definitely with me. It was a defining experience, and I'm proud.
That's amazing, brother. Okay, cool. Next question. All right, what is the message that you have for those who are actively serving before they come home? Like before they get that DD 214, what is the message you want to tell them?
Oh man, you know what? Stay focused. Do a good job. Don't get caught up. 2 forms of ID. Don't be that guy. What else do we got? Just don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Stay in, do your thing. It's worth it. And stay situationally aware. If you're a combat troop, whatever, just situational awareness is one of my favorite things.
Situational awareness.
My drill instructors told me, they're like, hey, it may save your life one day. So just stay focused, stay aware. Do a good job, do the right thing. It'll serve you well.
Exactly. And I want to kind of tell them, have a plan and have a plan B, have a plan C.
Right.
But if you got something you're passionate about, just do it.
Right.
If it's time to come home, start working on it before you come home. If you got a year before your EAS and you coming home, start working on your dream now.
Yeah.
Please start working on your dream now. Because the thing is, I've been currently working on my dream a lot, and I picked up a lot of motion, and you know what I mean? I picked up a lot of momentum. And when I first started this, I really wish I would have started sooner. But the thing is, I know the plan that I originally said that I had, it didn't go through. So,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So where I'm at now is in a happy place. I'm in a good place now. But when
That's
I first
good,
got out,
Jesse.
it was dark. It was dark times, man.
It was dark times.
It was dark times. I was living in the car, man.
Yeah.
Take your ass home if you ain't got nowhere to go,
Yeah, you know what? That's really good advice.
Yeah.
Dude. I wish I would have had a better game plan. Now, I wanted to go into nursing school and follow on with my medical career, but, it became apparent to me that I did not want to do that anymore.
Exactly.
And I didn't have an exit strategy,
Always have an exit strategy.
And then, I did fall on dark times. It was dark. It was dark. And now I'm trying to get back to it.
Yeah, knowing that too, that it's going to be dark.
Yeah,
it's going to be dark. Transition is hard, dude. They got a whole segment in the DA for this.
Yeah, it's different. It's different,
dude.
They
even got a diagnosis about transition, actually.
Really?
So don't worry if it's hard. Like I said, reach out to me. You know what I mean? If you're watching this and you're a veteran going through it, hit me up, please. I'll give you so many resources because these are things that I had to learn the hard way. So I'll definitely share anything that I have to offer. And, okay. Cool. So, this is pretty much the last question. We're going to wrap this up here. What are you doing to stand out today, to define yourself outside of your veteran status and declare your individuality?
I don't know, man. What am I doing? You know what? I'm just trying to get my shit together, man.
No, and that's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay to not know. I want people to know that. You know what I mean?
Dude, I don't know. What I'm trying to do is work on myself, find some peace of mind and some clarity, because it has been a struggle for me, and I was, dealing with, these issues that I created for myself, Also, that I think the military had a part in.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. And what am I doing now to be an individual? I'm trying to seek out those things that I used to enjoy. Those hobbies you were talking about.
Yeah, you got to get back to that love, man. And once you find something you're passionate about, like that's what I noticed. You know what I mean? defining myself now as becoming the clothing designer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The podcast host, the YouTuber, you know what I'm saying? The rap artist, like that. Those are things for me because like these were things that I love. I always had a passion about being on the screen and being on the stage. And this is stuff that I'm actively trying to make come to life. So I really do appreciate it. Yeah. It's okay. Sometimes it's a pleasure in not knowing because that's when you have the most fun.
Yeah, you know, I think I'm trying to find creative outlets. You know, exactly. Whether that be music or, you know, I love surfing, I like skateboarding, I like doing artwork, you know, I like, you know, I would like to do something. That's actually my New Year's resolution this last year in 2019 was to start making music in some capacity. Yeah. Whether that's making beats. It's something I've always thought about, you know, and it's something I want to do, or playing the tambourine or something, learning an instrument. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I got on that.
Yeah, man. And like I said, I want to say thank you again so much for this, man. This has been amazing. Yeah. I'm glad that you agreed to this with me. And
yeah, man. Thank you, Justin.
And, you know,
I appreciate it, dude. I didn't know you did.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. All right. So thank you. This is where we're going to wrap it up. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
We're going to actually, every single episode, we're going to actually try to incorporate some kind of organization that's local here in California. And like I said, if you're not inside of California and you need help with those resources, hit us up. I can actually send you over some stuff and some people that I'm really well connected with, and he got some good connections as well.
I do have a little black book, you know. People, I gave you Tanel's number, and I gotta, you know, we gotta stick together and hook each other up.
Yeah, we gotta definitely stick together and help each other out in this. So thank you so much. We're gonna wrap up this episode, and this is the finish of the first episode of VetTableTalk. Yeah.
Alright. I talk as if it were my last chance. Look at my soul, I hope you don't see a bad man. Confessions of an artist who never had fans. Strip me of my pride inside. And truthfully, I get afraid in the light. And I'm begging you to save me.